What's going on YouTube? I'm not good at YouTubing, but I'm trying to figure out a way to bring like my one take format to like this platform. Um, I like trying different things, and I think a lot of YouTube is super edited, and there's a crap ton of things that you have to compete against. But like I'm a fan of just being myself. I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to do any of those things. Eventually, I'm gonna turn, my like there will be a series like this will be like the one take series where like I will update you all in a one take setting. Try to at least get it to like a 10-minute video of me basically like one taking a certain part of like my life and basically updating you all on what I experience and having it be like as natural as possible. Jeez. That way there's just some realism to my page. And you guys or ladies or theys or thems or whomevers can watch and be like, hey, like we remember this guy and we remember, what he's doing and who he is and yeah. So welcome to my page. I'm gonna try to look at the camera as much as possible because you can see that I'm talking to you and I have to like focus on that. So I'm gonna look at this green dot as much as possible. So I have recently become a fan of my work. It was very hard to like become a fan of myself and root for myself when I first put out my album I Don't Hate Me Anymore. And that album was me basically like going in depth about my story and my life. Um, that was such a hard place for me 6 years ago. Um, Truly, 2019. It was I guess that would be my junior year of high school because 2020 was when I graduated. Um, and all I can say is that it was just rough. Like it was genuinely just a very rough, unfortunate time in my life where everything about myself was so easy to dislike because I just disliked everything else. Um, Depression and the way that it eats at you is a very slow, subtle thing. It doesn't come out of nowhere. Um, Eventually, it was, from my perspective, drugs, and then realizing that I was gay and hating the fact that I was gay and that somebody would potentially find out in a world where so many people, in theory, chastise you or shame you for even feeling comfortable with the idea of liking men or being sexually attracted to them or professing a love for them or wanting to have a life with them or create some kind of create some kind of like some cool lifestyle and then build a history with that person. um, that was hard to go through, and then not making the money that I wanted to make, not feeling the emotional connection from my parents that I feel I wanted or that I feel like I deserved, I guess, and wanting a lot more of that, and eventually it just got to a point where I was just really, really sunken, and the only way that I felt that I could express myself was in this closet, ironically enough, uh, in my old apartment that I used to live in with my mother a very, very long time ago. And I would go into this closet and I would prop up, and it was an older white pad, like an older, like I think one of like not the first generation, but one of the first or the earlier generations is what I mean. And I had put this I put this track in GarageBand. Like I basically just created this track, and I just kept building from it. And I was like, I hate myself. I don't hate me anymore. I don't hate the idea of hating myself anymore, but I know that I'm aware. Like I was aware of the fact that I hated myself, and I was like, I don't want to hate me anymore. So I just kept saying it over and over and over and over to myself. I was like, I don't hate me anymore. I don't hate me anymore. I don't hate me anymore. I was like, I don't want to hate myself. I don't want to I don't want to hate my life. I don't want to hate the person that I am because I think that I can be great. Like I think that I can be such a great person, and I don't have to be a terrible person or a person who feels crappy or a person who just doesn't enjoy their life. So I just said, I don't hate me anymore to myself over and over and over and over again. And eventually it stuck. And I plugged my headphones into my iPad and I pressed record and I started talking. And the very first take is the first take that you hear on the album. I don't hate me anymore. I don't wear feminine clothes. I don't wear makeup. I don't even paint my nails. But if I did, I wouldn't hate it. And that basically just jump started all the thoughts of everything that I was feeling in that moment. And it was the very first recording that I just put out. And then after that, I put together a compilement of all of the homosexual experiences I had with all of the guys that I'd ever fell in love with in this journal. And I took what was in that journal and I turned them all into songs from tracks that I had made in the past when I had just been producing in my room because I grew up on music and grew up on production. And I put the tracks together. And that entire process for me was so like that was the only way that I feel like I got to like fulfill myself and fulfill or fill myself up, like fill up my cup. Uh, that's an Abrahamic. No, basically like pour into myself is what I meant. And Abrahamic reference. There we go. My brain caught up, y'all. It's literally I'm filming this at 3 a.m. Because I have to do my job and I need to make sure that people can see me. I put those stories out. I did, and I didn't lie about anything. I didn't lie about any of the boys that I fell in love with. All of the guys that I found hot in high school. All of them. I just wrote about them, and I put them into this boy diary. And once this boy diary was filled, and once I was able to take all of the emotions that I was feeling and put them into this track, I didn't let anybody hear it for like I think like 2, 3 months. I put the videos out. I put the songs out to a couple of friends, and they were like, "Ian, these are crazy. Like these are crazy." And I was like, yeah, I was like, really? Because I thought they were crazy. Like I thought they were amazing to listen to, but like I just played all of the songs for myself, and they were like, "No, Ian, like these are really good. Like you should really, really put these out." And I was like, okay. And then 4 whole years went by from 2019, 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23. Correct. 4 whole years went by. I had connected and made some really, really great friends and started working on a video album over the summer. And with this guy named Jay Reno and my cousin David. And over the summer, David paid for basically all of it because I didn't have money or a job and was living with someone at the time because of like some like crazy life situations that was happening. And I eventually got a job though, and started paying bills where I was living. But he paid for the whole thing, and I love him till this day for that, because that video album and the way that it was produced was absolutely phenomenal for what we were able to get. But we basically built the story of the Man of the Stars. He was basically this version of Ian that I wanted to become, who was like this superhero, refined, cool version of like Ian. And we wrote the story together. It was David's storyline, and then it was my album. Like we both like came together and like wrote that story. And eventually, like after he had heard the full album, once it was done, he was like, you got to put this out, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna put it out. And he's like, no, no, like you have to put this out. And like him and I, we sat in his Tesla for like, I think we sat in that car in front of Dumars in my hometown, Norfolk, Virginia, for I think like an hour and a half. And all we did was just like we were sitting and we were talking about it. We were like, dude, like it's really good. Like we have to put this out. Like you have to put this video album out. Because the album was finished, but the video album was the only way that we could really bring, like, it was an additional way that we could bring my story to life, well, our story, because he helped with the storyline of like writing The Man of the Stars and like basically putting to picture what my experience was after I came out to him. And he was like, and he was so open and so supportive, and I love my cousin David till this day. I think he's amazing. And he as a like as a producer and as or a co-producer, as someone who was able to put like what I experienced into such a great picture, and like be able to like help me delineate between like the dichotomy of the Man of the Stars and Ian, and like show me what other people were going to be able to see, helped me see myself in a completely different light. And I became so much more like, you could see how timid and shy I was on camera when I was first recording, like when we recorded the entirety of the album, and just how awkward and little boyish I was in comparison to how comfortable I am now. And we put so much work into that. Jay Reno, David, and I, it was just the three of us. We put so much work into that album, and Jay, his camera skills were absolutely amazing, and the way that he was able to just encapsulate like all of the emotions and and the colors and the vibrancy of how that album made me feel and what those stories were about. The way he was able to just take everything and compile it into these beautiful compressed films is still incomprehensible to this day. And it feels cute and it feels, but it was so well produced for what it was, and for what we tried. Like till this day, that film, in my opinion, like the I Don't Hate Me Anymore video, like chronological video album series is just, I love it. And eventually, a year passed, 2024 hit, and I put it out. It was January the 7th, and I released I Don't Hate Me Anymore to all platforms. And I was terrified. That was basically me coming out to the public. And there weren't that many people who were watching me, but like the people who were watching, they started listening to the songs, and most people were just quiet about it. And they were like, we still support you. We still see you as who you are. And in a world where a lot of people will feel specific things um, towards you without ever actually knowing you, for me to receive bits and pieces of support when the entirety of my internal world was losing itself through the process of the release was was very it was surreal. And eventually I was like, well, people are gonna listen. And then people listened, and they like so much positive feedback from the album. They were just like, oh my gosh, Ian, like I relate to this, or this feels so great, or I as a man like have never felt so comfortable seeing someone else like express their feelings and their joys and what they go through like this. Like he was like, you've like, there were people who were like, this has helped me become a better man. This has made me feel my emotions a lot better. And I was like, wow, like this is what I was going through. This is what I felt, and I'm glad that I can help you with this. And then eventually, we're almost done. Don't worry. Eventually, I burned some CDs and I made 100 copies. It was like the Stars 100 Club is what I called it, and I gave out these CDs that people paid for them, but I gave out these CDs with basically just the first set of CDs that I had ever made, and I went and I sold them and I gave them to people, and I think I made like what $1,400, which is nothing nowadays in this economy. $1,400 would get you groceries. But I put the album out, and people just kept listening. Everyone just kept listening. And I can go and I'll see the streams today, and sometimes I'll open my Spotify artist app and you'll be able to see like people listening in that moment. And I'm like, wow, someone like wants to care about themselves, like someone doesn't hate themselves as much as they might have hated themselves prior to, or they're at least trying. And I was trying for a really long time, and I was so happy to get there. And that's why I think the world deserves that album, and why I want people to listen to it, and why I want it remastered, and wish that I didn't have to make it in the closet on these headphones that you hear me talking into right now. I hope this recorded the audio. Oh, God, please. I don't hate me anymore. I don't hate me anymore. Yeah, I was finally able to put out my music and finally able to put up my story. And now that I'm at a place where I really, really do love myself, uh, I can now put into words just how incredible that album truly makes me feel. And I hope that when you listen to it, it it amplifies my emotions times tenfold, and you, during your experience, have something that resonates and you connect the same way. Thank you, Train, for interrupting what was a very peaceful and quiet Decibel Wise video. I don't hate me anymore. Thank you for watching YouTube. One take.